Hey everyone, it is Eric with Rockin H TV, session number 91. Tonight we are going to talk about what you do when a client is not happy with your work. And I've had a recent experience with that, and I thought, I know a lot of you out here are trying to sell models and this and that for sideline income. Maybe you're starting a small business or something like that, and you're going to have people that don't like what you do. So tonight we're going to talk about it, and I'll just lay out what happened to me, and hopefully it will help you. So we'll welcome everyone to the room, and we have Carson in the house. Good to see you, Carson. Welcome, welcome. And Vaughn is watching, who has been posting some wicked cool photos of his layout. Steve is watching. Welcome, Steve. And Scott, good to see you. Hi, Scott. Good to have everyone here. We have about 4 minutes to welcome everyone around. Before we get too far, we'll plug Wednesday's show. Hey, Tyler, good evening. Wednesday's show, going to have a special interview on Wednesday. Brent, hello, Brent. Good to see you. Got the day off because of the rain. Good. Well, we could use some of that around here. And Colby, oh my gosh, there's Colby. Good to see you, Colby. Nice to have you here. Actually, Scott, you guessed well. Nice job. Well done. All right. And it's okay. Everything's good on my end, okay? Just so everyone, I'm not mad, I'm not upset, I'm not sad or nothing like that. I handled it. My client's happy, I'm happy, we're all good, okay? So just so everyone knows that up front. Justin, good to have you here. 2 inches up here. Wow, nice job. That's a good rain. We have not had good rain here for a while. Well, I guess we had 1.75 inches 10 days ago. Total over a couple of days. But hey, happy birthday, Dustin, by the way. We have a birthday boy, everyone here, so while everyone wish him, sing happy birthday. Nick is cutting wheat in Illinois. Holy crap, that moved north fast. Southern Kansas is just breaking loose. On Wednesday, I'm going to interview Paul Hoare, who's a friend of mine. He is over here from England. He hires guys to work here. And this is going to be kind of cool because if you know someone that wants to work in the States and they need questions answered about how to work on a J1 or H2A visa, Paul is the guy to answer those. Whether you go through him or through Iowa State or Minnesota State or many other places you can go through to get visas done. He is the guy that will answer your questions and explain kind of what happens on the Harvest Trail. So even if you're not from overseas and you're just curious, this will be a great one to watch because he is just wealth of knowledge. So he is actually here in the States checking out the guys he's hired for harvesters. And so he's having lots of fun, and I got to join him. A couple of days ago. So, let me see. Scott says, is the case signed upside down? It's the video. Okay, so I put some more bling in the shop. Hang on here. For all you deer guys, I finally got some deer stuff in here. Here's my new Big Bud sign. Whoops. There's my new Big Bud. Here, let me flip that around. There's my new Big Bud sign. And there's my case sign. I love that one. Bought that on eBay. And then we were down in Oklahoma and I bought me a John Deere thing. And then we were on another field trip and I picked up that out of a driveway. So we were down in Hutchinson and I picked that up. We were trespassing on a, whose was it? It was, some grain elevator like ADM or something, I don't know. Anyways, we wanted to get a photo of something, so no one was around. We took off on this piece of ground, and I said, hey, look at that over there. There was that sign sitting in the driveway, people running over it. So I put that up above my door. So, let me see, is that all the bling I've had? Yeah, that's all the new bling for the shop. But tomorrow, this is so awesome. I'm totally stoked. Before we get started, it's 8:30. I won't drag this out, but I took my daughter to church camp yesterday, and on the way back, there's a Gleaner graveyard that I know of. So I drove through that, and I found me, I don't know if it's a Gleaner A or whatever, but it's one of the old Gleaners, and it's got the logo stamped into the metal, into the sheet metal on the side, instead of stickers. And I called today, And the guy said he'll sell them both to me, both sides of the grain bin, for $175 as the deal I scored with him. He wanted 100 each. I said, I don't want to do that, but $175. So I'm going to have one to sell and one to keep, and woohoo! That's going to be so freaking cool. I've been dying to find the old Gleaner logo on a combine that's stamped into the metal. Just been digging and digging, looking for one. Finally got one. Hallelujah. So Paul and I, that's our field trip on Thursday. I got to go pick my daughter up in the afternoon, and we're going to stop by Dighton, Kansas, Brett's Equipment, and I'm going to get me 2 pieces of Gleaner bling for the lab. Totally stoked. Can't wait. They say money can't buy happiness. I guess it, yeah. Or they never had like a 1960-something Gleaner logo for their shop. Okay, I got to pipe down and get this thing rolling because we got things to do. Okay. Hey everyone, if I haven't mentioned you, I know you're here. Corey, Christopher, good to see you all. Thank you. So here we go. Hey everyone, it is Eric with Rockin H TV, session 91. Tonight we're going to talk about what to do when your client doesn't like the work you made. Okay, so this happened to me, and before I get too far, I'm not mad about it, I'm not unhappy, I'm not sad or anything like that. The situation's been handled, my client's happy, I'm good, everything is fine. But I'll tell you what happened, okay. But before I get into that story, I got to tell you why I don't have too many problems like this. This is only, aside from back in 2011 when I made a bunch of end dumps and one guy ripped me up for not putting a driveline on a truck I sold him. And that was in the days I didn't know anything. I was just flying by the seat of my pants. I guess I still do that a lot, but anyway. So that was one, and then I had another one. This would have been in 14 or 15, I think. But anyway, but I don't have problems with my clients, and here's why. One, if many of you followed what I teach and what I believe, then you'll know that I'm not giving away my work. I don't give away my time. I'm at the top of I charge, well, here's one. I'll show you. This I charged $375 for. I'm unapologetic about it. I told the guy, if you want to make it, I got videos showing how to do it. You're welcome to, but if you want me to do it, here's the cost. I got to put decals on this, and then this one's ready to go at $375. So, and that's a replica that the fellow's given away to his boss, and I'm pleased to do it for him. So because I'm high priced, the clients that I get generally, I don't have problems with my clients. They're great people to work for. I charge professional prices, and they treat me like a professional. I tell them this is what they can expect. Here's what the timeline. Here's what's going to happen, and then I deliver. And that's why I don't have too many problems. Very rare do I have a complaint or anything like that. I might complain about the price, I guess, but nevertheless. So I'm at the top of the pile as far as price goes. And then on the other hand, another thing too is it's not uncommon if someone's asking me to do something I've never done before, I will go ahead and do a live video so they can actually watch me build the thing. They can see it coming together. And then when I'm not doing live videos, the things you don't see me do is I'm taking pictures and sending them photos and giving them updates. Matter of fact, the guy that bought this truck and the guy that bought this truck right here, I just sent him a message this morning. I said, guys, I'm running into a trouble with my decal man. I hired a new guy to do artwork. The whole deal's falling apart on me. I got to hire someone new. My goal is to have these wrapped up by the weekend. If not, they'll be done next week. Okay? So I'm high touch. I want to make sure they know what's going on and there's no questions. And you know what? That just keeps everyone informed. And then, not on these particular projects, but, they'll say, well, Paul's watching. Paul's a good guy about this. When I've done work for him in the past, they'll say, well, Eric, it doesn't look quite like this. Can you make it more like that? And because I start early and keep them informed, I don't get it done, and they think, oh, holy crap, you didn't put the stickers in the right place, or the tank isn't the right size, and all this other stuff, and then you got to go back and rework the thing. No, 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 no. I stop, I get in the middle of that, and before it gets that far, we're making changes and making sure it's looking correct all the way through. And that, I tell you guys, if you're doing that, man, you won't have trouble. And if you set your prices a little higher than what you're doing, I mean, I would recommend, if you're wherever you're at in the game, double them or triple them or wherever you are. And your clients are going to improve with you. That's what's going to happen. They're going to treat you as a professional, and you're going to act that way. Paul says hello. There he is. So that's how I keep from having trouble. Now, let's fast forward to, I think 14. I was doing some Peterbilt 377s. I started out with Earl cabs. This particular family ordered everything in their fleet. I did 12 different trucks for them. It was a $5,000 job. And we were working on this thing, going and going. And I got one of them cut up. It was a prototype is what it was. I was making a practice model, thank goodness. So I did this I did 4 practice models, that's right. Anyway, she says, hey Eric, we're concerned about this. It doesn't look like our truck. Okay, so I put the brakes on everything I was doing. And then I went to Facebook and I said, guys, I need a better looking Peterbilt 377. Help me out. And that's when I found Gearbox 377s, which looked much closer. And cut them up, sent them some photos as I was building it along again, and they said, hey, this is better, this is spot on, this is what we want. And then they bought everything. They were happy, I was happy, and then they bought my 4 mistakes too and gave them away as gifts to their drivers, which was really freaking cool. So that was a great deal for me and for them too, because they're the customer. Okay, now let's talk about my most recent experience. If you followed any of my live feeds about the Australian Super B train, now a couple of failures on my part. One, I don't know if any of you have had this, but occasionally I will have a project that I'm very enthusiastic about, and so I start out with high energy, and then as I go, it kind of like, oh, boom. Okay, that's what happened to me on this project. I worked on it for probably 4 or 5 months. And a couple things I didn't do right. One, on one of the trailers, the guy that cut my sheet metal didn't cut it right, and I should have made him redo it, and I didn't. So one was about, an 1/8 of an inch shorter in the front than the rear. So it kind of tapered to the front. The dollies weren't true to what Australian dollies looked like. Even though I'd sent photos and everything, once it was actually in his hands, it's like, I can't live with that. So my policy is on things like that is, if you're not overjoyed with it, if you're not in love with it, I give you your money back. That's the way it is, okay? A lot of times I'll do a deposit up front, half up front and half at the end, and then again, and then my policy is I'll send you photos and you approve it, and then you own it. And if you get it home and I didn't represent it well, I buy it back. That's it. No questions asked, no worries. So that's kind of where we're at with this particular project is I'm refunding his money. I tried to sell it in Australia so I wouldn't have to have him pay to, well, he said he offered to pay to ship it back to me, and that's great. So thank you for that. And then I tried to sell it in country, but didn't work out. So I'm going to take it back and then probably dump it on eBay because I'm not an Australian train, super or whatever, grain train guy. I don't really care about those so much. But live and learn. And then I said I mentioned 2 mistakes, so I had a couple errors right at the beginning. But 2, I didn't make 2 of them. Should have made 2 of them, 1 to learn on and 1 to sell. Because man, I tell you, that gets rid of a lot of errors is when you resell or when you practice on something and then, and I've preached to you guys before, you know, give that practice model away to your nephew or your best friend, or flip it on eBay, get your money, you know, at least your cost of goods out of it, and then, you know, you have your excellent one for your client. I didn't do that, and that was a mistake. And part of the reason I didn't do that is because I had 250 in parts alone. So I thought, oh, $500 to wrap up in that deal. I prefer not to. I just didn't do twice. So that's what I do when I have a client that's not overjoyed with something I've made. And like I said, this is the first time I've given a full refund on something. This is the first time. Like I said, the other time we got so far in the build process and they finally said, you know, we're not real happy with this. Can you do something else? And then I, you know, changed gears and delivered better work for them in that first scenario I mentioned, that first story I told you about. So that's kind of how that works when I'm doing my projects. The best thing you can do to avoid a conflict with your clients is keep them informed all the way through the build. And your phone right here is, I mean, if you're out there in the shop or wherever you do your work, at the kitchen table, click a couple photos, ping them through Facebook or email or however you contact them, and then boom. They can guide the process. They get what they want. You get what you want. Perfect transparency, which is amazing, and it's great for your brand, and you'll be off and running. Justin Miller says, sounds like my OK Corral. Made one and kept it. Next 3 got made a little different. Now to rebuild mine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those practice models are invaluable. Matter of fact, here's a practice model that I have going together. This is a Volvo GMC. And here's the one. This is also going to Australia. So this got a second coat of paint tonight, and then I got to paint the bumper black, which is why I practiced. That, and I busted this one cutting it apart. This should have a visor across the top, like this one. See? Yeah, no visor. Yeah, practice. But that's why you do those. Okay, are there questions about the method to my madness here? Covered a little bit of ground, a little bit shorter show, but you know, I thought we all have times where, you know, the work we do, even you either fight that thing all the way through and it turns out and you're like, well, it's good, but it's not great, and you ship it out and the customer says, blah. You know, I covered a lot of ground there, so yeah. How do you handle it? That's the question. That's a good question for you. What's your policy? So maybe people watching in the comments can understand how your method works. Christopher says, my scariest moments are when I ship an item and track it delivered, and then they ask if they like it, and well, you know, even my clients will do that too, Christopher. You know, I've shipped off a number of things, you know, you never hear from them again. And that's not necessarily meaning you did bad work, you know, because we all want the feedback to say, to prove that, you know, we are doing things that are satisfactory to people. But on the other hand, you know, not everybody sees the work we do in the same way we do. Okay. So you invest a lot of yourself making this for somebody, okay? So you're going to invest a lot of your time and energy making this for that person, right? Well, for them, it's a bit more transactional and it's not as emotional, if that makes sense. Now, you will have clients that do give you that kind of feedback. Matter of fact, I made an end-dump truck. All I had to go from was a picture on a t-shirt that a guy sent me a picture of a picture on a t-shirt. It's all I had to go on. And I sent that to a place here in Kansas, and I got a video of him open it for Christmas. Freaking amazing. You do get those kinds of things on occasion, and if you ask for them, sometimes you'll get them too. But don't take it personally if you don't hear from them. That's what I would recommend. Ben Mossing says, worst thing that's happened to me is that I gave one away, and the person who didn't like it then wanted to trade it for something else. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Boy, tough luck. I don't know how to answer that one. I haven't had that happen yet. But normally I'm doing replicas. So there is some sort of attachment to the real thing, and then my representation of that is an emotional attachment, rather than serving someone that's turned on by a they see a truck going down the road and they say, oh, I want a replica of that truck or whatever. There's no emotional attachment to something you see driving down the road like there is something a person owned. And I think that makes my position just slightly different than a lot of people, but maybe I'm wrong. And speaking of that, there's Dwayne, who's got a couple of replicas from me. Matter of fact, you owned that one stands out as one of my favorites, Dwayne. I did a two-tone Ford L9000 tandem for him. It turned out, that was a lot of fun. The two-tone on that, I am so pleased. The whole thing was just great, and I love that truck. That was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that one. And then I've just done a lot of really cool trucks. I've done a bunch of cool trucks. That was a good one, though. That was a really cool one. Yeah, so how do you guys watching, if you're watching this, how do you handle negative feedback if your client? Now, you know my story, so what do you do? That's a good question for you. If you have, just real quickly, type in the comments. Do you offer a full refund? Do you do partial refund or what? I mean, how do you handle that? That's a good question. I'd like to know what you guys do. As I've mentioned kind of throughout this particular episode, is if you can prevent those before they even become complaints, you've done yourself a world of good. Oh, a huge bit of good. Pictures and videos will keep lots of things from causing you trouble. That's all I got to say, man. If you do that, you're going to be, I think you're going to see a lot of great benefit from that. So, anybody else, do you have, what do you do when you have a client that doesn't like what you did? What do you think about that? Talk to me in the comments here and let's see what you guys are doing. I love all mine. Good, because if you didn't, Paul, I'd not let you sleep here tomorrow night. And then I'd drink all your beer. Yeah, and it wouldn't take you on a field trip either. So you better like them. Matter of fact, Paul just ordered another one. Here, we'll get to this comment first. Charlie says, positive feedback is always a boost to reassure that you're doing a good job. I seem to get great feedback. As for unhappy customers, I buy the custom bag. Yeah, well done. Yeah, I think that's a pretty reasonable policy. Yeah, that is a pretty reasonable policy. Yeah, I have a custom back here for Paul that I made for him, and he gets to pick up and take back home on the plane. Evan McGrillis, most of my business is local, so I usually meet up with them, and they see it in person. If they don't like it, I offer a refund or change it up a little. Well done, okay. Yeah, don't worry, Paul, you're in good hands. Yeah, I have done a few modifications for different things too. So there's been a couple of times where they ask me for a replica, and I make them a replica, and then I say, oh, wait a minute, can you put a drop visor on that? Even though it doesn't match the pictures they sent me. I've done that, you go back, well, that's easy to do. Ben Mossing says, I don't do projects that I wouldn't love to own, so if they ghost during the building process of it, they don't like it, then I keep, oh, well, there you go, that's a good idea. And if there's no money involved, I don't know, Ben, if you're charging ahead of time or not, but if there's no money involved and they don't like it, keep it, and there you go, that's not bad. I have a habit, though, I love making them, but I wouldn't keep most of the ones that I've made. I don't know why, it's just, I get the satisfaction of making it and getting it out to them. So I really can't even say that I can't think, oh, I'd keep that one I made for Dwayne. That was pretty awesome. I ought to make another one. Christopher said, like you, Eric, constant communication is key until the job is right. Haven't had an unhappy customer yet that I know of. Perfect. Well done. Ben says, I don't charge him until it's done. Well done. That's nice. Dylan says, I'll buy it back, probably like closer or more money on eBay or selling it to someone. Wow, well, there you go. Well, good for you, Dylan. That's nice. Sweet. Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do with mine once I get it. I'm going to let it fly on eBay and hopefully get back what I have in it. And if not, well, so much. That's just part of it, you know. Can't have home runs every day. A few base hits and one occasionally you strike out. Part of the game. Dylan says, I usually don't charge up front unless it's big dollars. Yeah, good call. Good call. Yeah, last couple I haven't taken any money up front. It seemed like when I was making more customs than I am now, I was taking more deposits. But for some reason, it's guys just pay, so what the heck, right? And like you said, unless it's just like a humongous order where I need money to go buy everything, and then that way I'm not out of, well, like artwork, if you do custom decals and you don't get paid for that, you eat those, because what are you going to do with somebody's brand on a sheet of decal paper? You can't do much with that. Okay, I'm just looking at the clock here, guys, so no worries on that. Anyone else have a comment on what you do when a client says, wasn't really what I was thinking? I'm actually, I think I may have one more coat of paint on this one. Maybe not. But I got to put a red decal on this thing, which I'm going to print tomorrow, and then put hand grabs on it, and then start. This gets a black bumper and do the detail work on the headlights and turn signals and stuff. All these things on the side of the cab aren't chrome, they're white, so that's easy. And then I'm ready to put this thing together. And it's actually going on a Kenworth frame, Kenworth K100 frame, because the wheels look pretty close to what is on the real truck. Pretty cool, huh? All right. Well, guys, I don't see a whole lot of comments coming in, which is just okay. So if that is all right with you, I think I'm going to begin wrapping this up. Make sure you tune in on Wednesday at 8:30. Paul Hoare, who is watching this of Harvest Support USA UK, will be my special guest right here in the lab, if it's not too hot. And he's going to talk about what it takes to work in the United States on a J1 or H2A visa, and then give a little plug for what he's doing over there in Europe. And, you know, whether or not you, this would be good information, especially some of you who might be connected with people that want to come to the States and work in the ag industry. Paul can hook you up with some information on how to get that process started for him. And then also he does recruiting for harvesters here in the States, as well as a couple of farmers and some industry. So he's got 19 guys here, and he really knows what he's doing and been a friend of Rockin H for a long time. So do encourage you to tune in. And if you know someone overseas, make sure you share that episode with them. You can actually go to any of the promo things that I've done, share that with them on your homepage, your Facebook page, or wherever. That'd be great. And just our goal here is to help a lot of guys who have a love of wheat harvest get here and do something amazing. Have a great adventure over a summer. So it's going to be really cool. Dylan says, this video is educational. Well, I appreciate you watching, Dylan. Man, I hope it helps you and grow a cool business. Paul says he's scared but looking forward to it. He's got nothing to worry. He's got this in the bag. We did one of these before in Vernon, Texas, back in 2012 when I delivered some models to you. Well, you were here helping Haynes cut a little wheat and checking on your guys. So you got this, Paul. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the feedback, all the comments. That's really important. And for all the love, I've seen some thumbs up pass through the screen here. I appreciate that. And first Wednesday, then next Monday, we'll be back with Rockin H Sessions 92 and 93. So With that, guys, I wish you well. Thanks for watching and sharing and commenting, and we will catch you next time. Bye.